You don't remember that race? That race was crazy.
because we wasn't winning.
But shit, I got third, but like we all leaned at the line at the same time. We got third. You gotta check out that race again, man.
Yeah, but I'm finished.
Watch somebody else but yourself.
All right, let's get it. You ready, Oriana?
Yeah.
All right.
You want me to sit right here?
Yeah, just sit right here. We just chilling.
I mean, like, my good spot.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You talking to her on that one.
Yeah, you guys are in angle.
Cool, man.
All right, we starting. It's your boy Limitless Mike. Today, I'm doing an interview, a nice little track talk with Washington State track and field legend. Just one of them guys. He really did it. He really built himself up and a super successful guy in the area of track and field. Today, I'm sitting down with the legend, Jordin Andrade.
I don't know about legend, but I appreciate it.
Yeah,
man. It's been a long time, man. I ain't seen you since 2010.
Crazy.
And to say 2010 is a long way away from where we at now. You know, we getting old, man. That's what I'm trying to say.
For sure, we are old now. It's crazy to see so many young guys coming up, or like I got a younger sister and she's about to graduate college. Like that's how old we are.
How old was your sister when we were in high school?
She was in middle school, you know. I don't even know. She was young though.
She had to have been.
Yeah, but shit, I'm just gonna ask you some questions about, track, your story, just kind of the whole shebang, like how you made it so far, how you built yourself up. So my first question is just, where are you from? Like,
okay.
Where you from?
So I grew up in Federal Way, and then in high school it was actually middle school. I moved out to Bonnie Lake High School. Bonnie Lake. And went to middle school out there, and then went to high school, and actually didn't pick up track until my junior year.
Really?
Of high school, yeah.
Damn.
Basically, and this is kind of how the story starts, but I loved baseball growing up, not gonna lie. Absolutely loved it. And actually, I loved all sports, but baseball was the one, I had the dreams of being in the big leagues and all the good stuff. And but I also played other sports like basketball. So I went out for the basketball team in middle school, and it was the first time I didn't make a team. I got cut from the basketball team. I went to all the practices. I thought I did good, and they were like, "No, you're not doing it." And it really hurt me, man. And it wasn't even a sport I cared about. Like I knew I wasn't that good at basketball, but I thought I made the team. So I was afraid that if I pursued baseball, it would lead to a similar failure, and that was not something I was willing to accept. So I quit baseball. I quit all sports, matter of fact.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, one more time. What grade is this?
This was middle school.
This is
eighth grade. Yep. So a lot
dreams crushed.
Yes. So I know a lot of people go through the same feelings of like, you don't want to disappoint yourself. You don't want to disappoint your family and embarrass yourself. Like, so I know a lot of people go through those things, but it wasn't until I had some friends in class, and they hit me up and was like, "Hey, we actually run track. You should come out, man. It's not even nothing serious. Like, we all have fun." And I remember specifically asking, like, "Do they have cuts?" And they said, "No, they don't cut nobody." I said, "All right, cool. I'll come. We just kick it and have some fun, man." Yeah. And so my first year of track, it was just having fun, just messing around at practice. And it wasn't until we got to playoffs. We have regionals, how's it work?
We had like West Central, or there was some
it was sub regionals.
Yeah,
sub
whatever.
District, and then state.
Yep.
And it wasn't. I made sub districts just goofing around, and I actually took it serious, and I wanted to win all of a sudden, and it really re-sparked and reignited like my competitive edge. Yeah. And then my senior year came, and I gave it the best I could, and we fell short.
Let me ask you this so we don't go too far.
Yeah.
So boom, you go out there, junior year, you're BSing, you just want to hang out with the homies, you want to see some girls, basically you chilling.
Yeah.
Why did you choose hurdles? You could have did javelin, you could have did the 100, you could have did so many things. What made you say, I'm about to do the hurdles?
So there's a few things that factored into that. Mainly, we were short hurdlers. And that's how I ended up. But at the same time, I didn't have that overall quick speed. I still really never did develop an overall quickness, but I knew that I could beat people in other ways, which is getting off a hurdle quicker and getting into a hurdle faster, things like that. Again, it took me a long time and a few years to specialize in hurdling to make it so I was really taking over in that. And it wasn't until college where I started learning that. I went to a junior college first.
That's what I was going to say next. So you do hurdles. what we ran high school track together. We just looking at pictures of us running high school track together. So boom, senior year, do you do the 110s?
No.
You do what events do you do senior year at State?
Okay, I did do the 110s, I forgot. But I was so bad at them, man. Oh my gosh, I think like 1680 something was my fastest.
Shit.
Yes, and I was trying. This is like trying, Jordan. Yes, so it was all bad. I don't even think I scored anything at our sub district meet, and so I really specialized and focused on the 300 hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4x4 was also pretty good that year. And that's when we got to race each other, which was good times, man. I remember I vividly, because we were in the same sub district.
Yeah, we did everything together.
We would just smash people, bro. And I was like, dang, that boy's fast. I'm not trying to race him in no 400. And I knew that if you got the stick in front of me, I wasn't gonna catch you. And our state meet 4x4, man. You have to rewatch it because that was one of the most exciting races to this day for me to run in, because it was your team, White River, which had a really cool squad of 2 twin brothers on the team.
Yeah.
That was so cool. They had the Dixon brothers and I can't believe I'm spacing on his name.
The Greens. They had 2 sets of 2 twins. All white boys basically smashing.
Yep. They had, I gotta remember their names: Marcus Dixon, Kramer Green.
Yeah.
Kramer ran the 300 hurdles, and Colin.
Yeah.
Kramer ran the 300 hurdles. He ended up going to Eastern.
Yeah.
And he was my rival in the 300 hurdles. Mm-hmm. And we'd go back and forth, and then at the state meet, he got me. I think he ended up second or third. I ended up fifth.
And that's what I'm saying. Okay, so you end up fifth at state meet. You start out, you're not even really playing sports. Boom. You go out junior year, it's whatever. Senior year, you're fifth in the state. So that's a pretty big improvement right there from, just starting. Senior year, I'm fifth in the state. But at that point, did you have any offers? Like, did anyone call you, send you a letter, anything?
There was one school, and it was a book scholarship to right down here in Lacey. What's that school? I know you know this. St.
Martin's.
St. Martin's hit me up.
Yeah.
And they were really trying me. I was like, all right, cool, no problem. I get a book scholarship. How much do you think it costs to go to school here?
50 racks.
Boy, you're lying. I said, you know what? I'm good. I appreciate the offer. And then that leads me to go down to California because...
And this is JUCO?
Yeah. So what happened there was my uncle, he has a track team that he did that summer. It was a summer league. And he saw that I got fifth and stayed up here. And was like, hey, I'd like to invite you down. You can stay with me over the summer. We just run some track meets and we'll have some fun. So, it was either go down to California or find a job up here or go in the military. And I didn't plan out any jobs out of high school like any other high school kid, right? Yeah. And then I'm not a military dude. I got nothing against the military. I just knew that's not where I saw myself going. And so I went down there and tried to prolong as long as possible. And I got an eye of a junior college coach out there. His name was Coach Gregoire. He's legendary. He used to be a Team USA head coach at the Olympics. And anyways, he was like, yeah, I would like to see if you train here. I asked my uncle. He let me stay down there, and boom. That's how I ended up in junior college, because I wasn't going to keep running track after high school.
Yeah, so with that, did you do it that summer? Did you run summer track or anything?
I did.
With your uncle?
Yeah. He had Andrade's Athletics, which was...
I'm going to ask you more questions about him.
Yeah. My uncle, he's the GOAT. He's the one that kept me in the biz. And then we ran at the Junior Olympics that year, which was in Sacramento, which is where all my family's from. And I thought that would have been a really exciting thing. And oh man, I pooped the bed. I didn't do good at all.
That same thing happened to me at Mount Sac. No.
Nah, okay.
I did a different one. Years earlier. And the same thing happened at Mount Sac College. We go down to California, and I'm doing good at regionals. I'm good. But I go down there, get whooped for some reason. It's just a huge disconnect. I think my legs are hurting, whatever. But it's I'm getting whooped in front of my aunties. But I'm good. I'm up in Washington smashing, or I'm going other places smashing. Go see my aunts.
Traveling is hard as a high schooler.
Mm-hmm.
We're not ready mentally for that, especially if it's your first time. I mean, I don't know how many times. Did you go with Seatown Express, I heard?
I always ran with the Flying AJs.
The Flying AJs?
I should have ran with Seatown.
Are they still around?
I might be taking over. I might have to take that over. They're slowing down a little bit. Yeah.
You really should. Yeah, traveling was tough. I don't know, was that your first time traveling?
No, it was just an L. It was just a mean ass L.
Dang. I traveled to Vegas. That was the only time I ever traveled was to Vegas and to Sacramento and got smoked both times, man. It was not cool. And I was my high schoolers.
Okay, but boom. So then from there, you go to JUCO. So you're fit that state. You make a big improvement from the 300s to the 400s. Like, how'd you do that? Was it your coach? Was it your mentality? Like, what happened in your freshman year at JUCO, I guess?
Really, I think a lot of support.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of people that saw the potential in me and gave me all the support I could really ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Because originally, like I said, I was just doing it for fun in high school. It was just me and myself having fun and giving somebody to give you that little kick in the butt to say, you can do something if you really want to is really all I was looking for and all I really needed, And so, believing in yourself really can go a long ways, always.
So what happened that freshman year? Like, I guess, what was your accolades? What happened to you?
Oh, man, again, it came from nowhere. But it's one of those stories that's like, if you really put your mind to something, you can do it. Because I went from 5th in the Washington State, to number 1 in the country in the 400 hurdles. When I won the junior nationals up here in Eugene, that took me somewhere else that I didn't expect, because that's when I started getting all the phone calls. Colleges love that junior accolade. So I went, man, this is probably one of the low lights of my careers again. My freshman year of college, I was doing my best. I was working hard. I ended up becoming ranked number 1 in the California Community College, which is a huge division. There's so many community colleges in California. It's basically the nationals of community college. So I got ranked number 1. I go to the state meet, make it to finals. Things were going good. I get down in my lane, and I was sure win, man. It's going to be easy. And I false started, man, in the 400 hurdles. Who false starts, man? In Sacramento again. I just thought about that. Sacramento was not good to me. So I false started there. Things went bad. And then 2 weeks later, they had the junior nationals up in Eugene. And it was one of those, you got to get past and get over what happened in the past. So I went and I showed out, made the team. Went to Junior Pan Ams. I got a silver medal. And then that's
where was that
at? Coming. It was in Florida.
It was in Florida?
Miramar. They still have
on that red and blue track?
Yeah, which I ran at last year, and it is not as soft as it was then. It's rock hard. It's one of those tracks where you can hear the spikes come by.
Like concrete.
Yes, man. It's a lot. It's a lot.
But you just would say it's just you were more focused and you just got that push, because that's a huge leap. And that's starting junior year. 2 years later, for my age group, for juniors, I'm the best in the nation. Like, that's a huge fucking leap.
Again, a lot of it comes to mentality. I was in high school just goofing off, having fun, and then when I got to college, it was like, okay, no more going out, no more drinking, I'm gonna go to bed at these times, I'm gonna eat right. It was things like that really take you to the next level. It's not just I'm gonna come out and work even harder, but you gotta do the extra things.
It's the little thing. It really is the little things. I've been on both sides of doing the little things and have success and not doing them. Be like, oh shit, and just trying to just partying, but still just trying to run hard. It's like it
doesn't really work out that way sometimes. You gotta do everything. You can't just say I'm gonna work hard today and it pay off. You gotta make sure you're eating right, sleeping right, drinking.
But after your freshman year, what happened sophomore year?
Sophomore year, let's see what happened. There was a coach. I was getting recruited by Tennessee. Matter of fact, I was getting recruited by a bunch of schools, but I went on my visit to Tennessee and absolutely loved it. I was like, I'm going to go to Tennessee. I'm going to be in the SEC. Things were going well. I had friends out there. The coach of the program was going up. Things were going well. And then, this is part of the recruiting process, and the reason I want to put that out there, because I don't really even tell people this story much, but the recruiting process can be a little dirty sometimes, right? So, let's say this is January of my sophomore year. The Tennessee coach is calling my phone, and he's like, yeah, if you want this, you can have it. I don't remember what the scholarship offer was, but it was a good offer. And I said, absolutely, I want it. Go ahead, write me down, send me that contract. I'll sign it today, blah, blah, blah. Matter of fact, it was in December, because then he said, all right, after winter break, I'm going to send you the contract, no problem. So my phone just kept ringing about these other schools that were interested, and I had to keep telling them, like, hey, I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to Tennessee. That's what it is. And so when the break ends, I told all the schools that I'm not coming to their school no more. I'm going to Tennessee. And they didn't send me no contract yet in January. And they said, hey, we got whatever championship it is. We'll send you the contract after that. So, all right, no problem. So a month goes by. I'm still waiting on this contract. Another month goes by, and all of a sudden it's March. And I'm like, dude, I've not heard from this guy. And I have told every school that I was interested in as well that I already signed and committed. You verbally commit or whatever. And so pretty soon I'm trying to call this guy. I'm trying to call him, and he's not answering. And I was like, oh, my gosh. So I had the idea one day after class. I blocked my phone number and gave him a call. And, of course, he answered, man. Go figure. I was like, hey, this is Jordan, man. Just wondering, haven't heard from you in a while.
Was
still on? Yeah. And I remember it to this day. I'll never forget it. He goes, oh, man, it's so good to hear from you. We've been trying to reach out to you for, I don't know, months now, but we want to make sure you're still interested. I said, yeah, I'm still interested. He goes, all right, well, hey, I got some bad news. Because it took you so long to get back to me, we had to reduce your scholarship. I'll never forget it, man. So we reduced it to some, it was basically books again, man. And I was like, hey, I appreciate it, but I'm good. So I hung up on him. Boise State called me that same day, man.
Wow.
Boise State called me, and I was like, hey, as long as you're loyal to me, I'll be there. You send me that contract, I'll sign it. And they sent me the contract. I went up on my visit, actually, right before. I enjoyed it, so I said, all right, I'll sign. So I signed up at Boise State.
Hey, that's real.
Yeah.
I almost went there. I took a visit to Boise State. And
in 2010?
In 2010, yeah. I took a visit to Boise State. But for me, this was my recruiting. I did basically the opposite. It was kind of similar, but I had some schools. I had Wazoo. I should have went to Wazoo. These niggas came to my house and kicked it with me. We ate, we kicked it.
The coaches?
The coaches was chilling at my house. But the offer wasn't, it was like 50% or 60%. It wasn't that big. And it's probably what I deserved, whatever.
Fair,
but it was fair. It was completely fair. It was what I deserved. And, I just ended up getting a bigger scholarship to Eastern Washington. But I never talked to the coach. He never, he just sent me the letter and I signed there.
Dude, yeah.
But it's like, I should have rocked with the people who came to my crib and was kicking it with me type of shit. So the same thing, you're like loyalty. Like, hey, y'all call me, I'm having a rough day, basically. Y'all with me. If y'all are loyal to me, I'll be loyal to you. And it paid off for all you guys.
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches need to take that in consideration. And, I know what you're saying though, in terms of like, damn, these were the guys I should have been kicking it with. But the money, it's hard to say no to that money.
Yeah. Your college scholarship, your future. We're talking about thousands of debt or loans, or how am I going to pay for this? Or it's like you can mitigate your risk if you go to a cheaper school and they give you more money. You're mitigating your risk, but you go to a bigger school. Take the chance, roll the dice. Like I said, they was in my house kicking it with me. I probably should have rocked with them versus anyone else.
Another thing that comes out to it, especially in track and field, is you see who's producing. And Wazoo at the time, bro, was kind of nice. So that would have been a nice little move. How was it at Cheney, by the way?
It was wild. It was good and bad.
Yeah.
I have good stories. I have bad stories. I have what was I doing, in the past. But it was cool because we had a good little crew, like with the Greens, just kind of knowing them, or at least from that same year. I don't know. It was weird. But it was also weird because, I ran sprints, and it was weird to be like one of the only black kids on the sprint team. Yeah, and it was just like a culture shock. It was truly a culture shock because I ran track over here. I've been running track, playing sports for years. I'm from Tacoma. Just doing a lot of black shit, going on trips. It's like, like doing with the homies, and then going out there. It's like a culture shock where it's like, I don't really have that much in common with these people other than just track, other than the fact that we're on the same team. There's not a lot in common. So it was a culture shock, and I would be going back and forth with my coach. He didn't always like me. I didn't always like him. But, that first year, it's like I had success that first year. Once I got everything in order, once everything was going direction, it's like, oh, shit, conference champ. We, went to West Regionals at least, and we had a successful year. But
you still had that mentality in high school. You got to work for it, right?
Yeah.
And then I was going to say, what happened on your Boise State visit? You visited, right?
Yeah, I visited.
Was Hardy the coach?
J-Dub
Hardy?
He's a black dude?
Black dude, yeah.
Oh, yeah, black dude. And then, light skin. She was a sprint coach. She was like black or light skin.
Yeah.
I really should have rocked with them too. They was the homies.
If I had to say anything, the big reason I went to Boise State was immediately because that coaching crew was just so cool and loyal. Like you could trust them. It was like that.
They
man.
was the homies.
We all connected.
I did my visit with I think his name was like Paul Richardson or something.
Paul Richardson, that's my guy. Yeah, you really did.
I was really there. We went out to eat. It was cold out there.
Paul Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson. It was. Cheney was cold as well, but it was cold out in Boise. One other reason I went to Eastern is because my sister went there, so it was like a very seamless process of like your sisters are here, y'all just go together versus like going here there.
Yeah.
Because I was I had my head on straight a lot, but there was also times it was like, I could be a wild kid, so it was easier with family time.
My cousin ended up at Eastern. I don't know if it was during your time. You left in 2014.
Yeah, maybe probably 2015.
You know Ramsey Toms? No, that would have been a trip, man. That's the cousin I gotta go see tonight. Yeah, that's my guy.
But I got a couple more questions for you. So you choose Boise State. 2015. What happens with you at Boise State?
Oh man, so let's see. 2013 actually is when I first went there in my junior season. Things were going really well. I PR'd by a ton again. I was ranked like I can't remember. I think I was 8th in the country in the NCAAs. And we go to West Regionals, and I ran. This is the first round, and then they got quarterfinals. I ran the first round, easy, advanced, won my heat. Things are going well, and in the Western Regionals, what do you got to do? You got to place top 24, I believe, right, to advance to NCAAs. I got like 25th, man. I was number 4 in the West at the time, and I got 25th or 26th, one or the other. Just shit the bed, man. Yeah. It was just one of those days. I just wasn't feeling it. And I tried to go out. I tried my best, and it was a lot. It was a lot because my first year, I false started. Then I got one chance. I did very good my sophomore year in college, and. But those are JUCO days. You can't go to NCAA champs in JUCO. So I got 2 chances to go to NCAAs, and I blew one of them at the Western Regional. So that one hit me deep, man. To this day, that was really heartbreaking because my eyes were set on the big prize, man. I really wanted a medal at NCAAs. And then, so I dedicated 2014 to just training. I redshirted. And then 2015, I came back with a vengeance. I wanted everybody, bro. I was hot. I wanted people to know who I was. Every meet was a serious deal to me. I didn't take any days off. It was one of those years, man. It was like grind time, and I ended up doing really good. I got 2nd at NCAAs. I got a silver medalist. That was my goal, was to get a medal, and I achieved it. And life was good, man. It was hard work, man. Yeah, that's really what it came down to.
How was it? I mean, like, after, so boom, you be in there, you're Mountain West Conference champion, like you're in there, it's all coming together. But did people treat you different? Did the parties change? Were you treated any different? Once it's like, because conference champion is big, that's good. Going to West Regionals, that's big, but it's like to get in that motherfucking NCAA final and walk away with the medal.
I mean, sure. Boise will always be a football town. Track and field, I got some love here and there. I knew I was pretty well known in Boise at the time just because of I was very vocal, I was very outgoing with everybody, and I really enjoyed the community out there a lot. So I was really engaged. So a lot of people already knew who I was and things like that. And so when I did win the NCAAs, or my bad, that didn't win them, but I got second in NCAAs. When that happened, I wouldn't say anybody really treated me different. However, they showed me a lot of love.
Yeah.
I got plenty of love out there, and I still got plenty of love for them.
That's what's up.
You know?
That's dope. And then I guess what happens after that? Like, do you sign a pro contract? What's that? When you're all said and done with collegiate track and field, what's next? What happens?
Man, so look, I really thought after I got second at NCAAs, I said, okay, I'm the second best in the country. Like, obviously money's gonna be coming to me, right? Things are gonna be happening. People want me to run these meets, and there's only one other dude that deserves more money than me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, my ego's blown up a little bit. I called up no agents called me, by the way. Go figure. I was like, but I'll be honest, I was like, that kind of caught me off guard because there's a week between NCAAs and maybe it was 2 weeks, but yeah, between trials. And I get to trials, and like everybody that was in NCs with me, even people I beat, all had agents already. And I was the only one with that one. I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. And they told me like they got reached out to, and they were already doing meets overseas that summer. And I was like, this is not what I envisioned.
Mm-hmm.
An NCAA silver medalist would get treated. So I made a list. I called up all of these people. I got 3 agents that called me back. I remember all 3 of them. They were all good guys. Agents get kind of a bad rap in the track and field world, but their job is to get you track meets and sponsorships, and that's how they get paid. But I signed with a really good agent. I really liked what he was doing and what he could offer. However, the contract negotiations did not go well. Nobody was interested. They wanted to see what I would do after college. And I said, all right, no problem. If that's what I got to do, I got to work my ass off. Ain't nothing new, right? So the next year, I moved back up here to Federal Way. I went and trained with Coach Mike up with Seattle Speed. And things went really well. My next year was the Olympic year. I made it to the Olympics. I made it to the Olympic semis. I think I got like 14th at the Olympics. I didn't PR, but I damn near tied it. I was 200ths of a second slower. So I'm like, all right, cool. I solidified myself. I said I can continue to run after college. I showed all these progress. I was killing it overseas, man, like smoking people all the time, and nothing. Didn't get a single offer. They said he was in contact with, I want to say it was Adidas. Maybe it was Adidas. And it was like nothing. It was like uniforms, bro. You want uniforms? And you can't take uniforms because then they know that they got you, There's a lot of people that fall. Track and field's a grimy sport. I'm not going to lie. It really is. So, like, there's a lot of people that settle with uniforms. They get better and on the global stage, and all they get after that is a little contract.
They're stuck.
If you get lucky, you get paid in like $10,000 a year. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. I know that much.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so that's why. Go figure. But also, it's a double-edged sword. Is like if you turn them down and you don't progress, or if you stay the same, they're like, well, we offered you clothes already, man. You obviously don't want it. Like, So it's like...
But it's like, damn, I can just run into the Adidas store for X amount of dollars. If you're offering me clothes, like, right, bro, I'll pull, I can go get a Nike tank in Nike spandex out of the outlet for $45.
No, so... That's the biggest, in my opinion, that is the biggest thing holding back track and field.
Okay.
Is the chokehold that Nike and Adidas has on the entire sport. Because, so like imagine, and not to mention, you got to pay, so if someone wants to endorse a track and field athlete, they got to pay the World Athletics people. Yes, and it's a lot of money. It's not like $20 or something like this. It's thousands of dollars to be an official sponsor. And that's to get into any meet that the World Athletics supports. So, first off, you're going to limit the amount of sponsorship opportunities by that. Secondly, they have a rule on you can only have one logo and it can only be about this big, right, at any of their meets. So who wants to pay thousands of dollars at a sport that doesn't get a lot of recognition already for a little logo this big on a track and field shirt? Like, not a lot of people. So I think that the World Athletics needs to look into opening up sponsorships, letting us deck out our tank tops if we want, and all the sponsors we want. they don't need to charge people to be official sponsors, and if they do, make it more reasonable. Because Nike dishes out, man, like
they got in the choke.
Boy, I don't know how much they dished out this last year, but it was something crazy about like okay, no one's gonna beat that offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, if I'm World Athletics, I just got $1 million. What do I need little sponsors for?
Yeah.
They told me they want $1 million to be the only sponsor for this event.
Yeah,
I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ugliness in it, and that limited my career because I could never secure a sponsorship. You know, and I did what I could. I tried my best, and I'm happy with how my career went. But it's just one of those things, man.
Oh no, I hear you. But you did a lot. Like there's still more going on. So,
dude, it never ends.
With that, so I got a quick question. Who's Henry? Who's Henry Andrade?
That's my uncle that invited me out for the track club down in SoCal. He ran in the '96 Olympics. That was another reason I was hesitant to join the track team because, in my eyes, that's my uncle. I mean, he's a big dog. I always was like, he was very. What am I trying to say? He was a big guy to me in my eyes because he went to the Olympics. And as a kid, I was like, nothing beats that guy. He's a superstar to me.
Yeah.
And so my fear of joining track and field was, how am I going to live up to that? If I don't, is that a problem? So I was afraid of that, and I wouldn't tell my parents that I went out for track and field until later on my first year out. I didn't tell them, man. I didn't want them to know. I didn't want.
He was lying to his parents. They're like, "What are you doing after school?"
I was hanging out with my friends. Yeah. Coming back all sweaty.
Working hard.
Yes, dude. That's a real story, man.
So
my parents didn't know.
And so that's your uncle. He kind of role model, but also put you on some game with the world of track and field.
Yep.
And is that why you pursued running for Cape Verde versus Team USA?
Yeah, actually, it's a really solid point right there. Is when I got out of college, I had dual citizenship between Cape Verde and the United States. I've represented the U.S. in the past at the juniors, the Junior Pan Am Games. And I had the opportunity to represent, and as my uncle did, for Cape Verde at the Olympics, and that seemed like an opportunity that'll forever echo in like a family history. Versus, I mean, it's not to say that it's not glorious to run for USA, because it absolutely is. It's probably one of the biggest honors you can do in track and field, because that's a hard team to make.
Facts.
But it was something for myself and for my own family. That is bigger than just the sport.
Facts.
You know, so that was an amazing opportunity, and it led me to do so much for the Cape Verde community. I got to go visit the countries, and it was really fun.
No, that's dope. When prior to this, I was looking you up, and his name popped up. I'm like, is this the guy's dad? Like, what's popping? Like, what is this? And then, kind of seeing his story, some similarities of, Team USA. I would love to run with Team USA. If it's not going to work out for me, I'm about to go run over here and smash it and make it to the Olympics and be that guy. So that's awesome. And then how was it in Rio? Like, any funny stories or, what was it like?
Oh, man. I felt like I was in Rio for a whole year. So there was a lot to say. I mean, firstly, I met a lot of great people, big names, but we were all very... it was more like friends, man. It wasn't ever a shock to be like, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so. But it was like, I mean, at first, obviously. Yeah. But after a while, like I said, you live in one village, so you guys all hang out all the time.
Yeah. You got to eat. We all eating, pooping, working out. Like, we just chilling.
Yes, but, I mean, the only sad part was I competed at the end of the Olympics. Like, I probably had like 4 days before the Olympics ended, after the semifinals. And, my daily routine was wake up, eat, train, because the training facility was like an hour and a half away. Yeah,
damn,
it was far. So I'll wake up in the morning, I'll get my breakfast, I would drive an hour and a half, I do my workout, it's like 3 hours or whatever, because you got to lift and all that stuff too. And then you take an hour and a half back. It's already nighttime, bro. You eat dinner and you go to bed. It's like, just like that. And so I had to spend the majority of my days with that as my schedule. But the last few days was a really good time. The people were really fun. Let's see if I can think of any funny stories, man. I know So another thing is like I already know Team USA, like track and field at least side. So that was fun in its own sense. We knew each other. We all kicked it. Yeah, like we go to track meets all the time together. So the track and field aspect is the same, man. I knew all these dudes already. They knew me. So I'm trying to think of a funny story, man, but I really can't. Oh, here's a good one. I mean, kind of. I lied. So my coach couldn't make it to the Olympics that year. He had some things going on. There was no problem. Like and as you become a professional, you can handle yourself without a coach if you need. So he couldn't make it to the Olympics. It was cool. He wrote my workouts every day anyways. So I had a vacant ticket, and I said my dad was my coach. And so my dad just got married that year, and he couldn't afford a ticket to go see me. So I said my dad was my coach. I got him a ticket. And he stayed the whole time with me, man.
That's dope.
You got to stay in the village. You got to meet the celebrities.
Yeah. He's like,
And the funny story is, he got out there, and I had to lie and say, this is my coach. No, he knows what he's doing. My dad got out there, and it was a vacation for him. He was chilling and having a good time. I was like, Dad, like, you're my coach. You gotta act like you're my coach, right? And so, man, he played his part, because he would get interviewed, like, what kind of workouts you guys doing? And my dad got no idea. So, dude, and it was I was like, yo, there's some very embarrassing, like, if you know now that he was not my coach, you'd be like, oh yeah, he's definitely lying. Like, it sound like he's lying. But nah, he did his thing. He played his part, man. He came to all my training things. He had the clipboards, the whistle, all the stuff. He didn't know what he was doing, but that was my guy. And he knows enough about track that he can get me through it. So
yeah, that's dope.
That was a pretty exciting story to me. And,
that's dope.
And that's an experience that my dad gets to live with forever, and I get to live with. So he got to come out the tunnel and everything with me. It was pretty cool, man.
That's dope.
Oh man, not to mention, I don't know if you saw this, but in Rio, man, they tried to do me dirty. At prelims, I forgot all about this. I don't know how I forgot it. At prelims, they tried to disqualify me. Did you see that? They said that I purposely hit the last hurdle. I was pissed because here I am coming in second. And I probably would have PR, man. I was smoking them. I was in second, and I hit the last hurdle, stumbled a little bit, and I got passed for third, and then I got passed for fourth, and I was in fourth, so I qualified with a little Q rather than a big Q, which that sucked, right? And then I look up on the scoreboard, it goes, blah, 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 and I see my little Q come up, and I'm like, yes, I made it to semis, life is good. So I go through this long line of interviews, man, like, it just snakes back and forth, and I don't know how many interviews I did, and they were just like, congratulations, how's it feeling with semis, how's it feel to represent Cape Verde, blah, 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 interview after interview, and then I get out of the line, and I check my phone to see where my parents are, because my mom made it out. And my mom texted me. She goes, don't worry, we're protesting. I said, protesting what? For all I knew, I just did all these interviews to tell all these people, they all thought I qualified as well. And then I'm looking around for my mom. I'm running around the stadium looking for her because she's not texting me back. I don't know why she would text me, don't worry, and then not tell me about it. So I'm like running around. I had just ran, and I'm literally running through this stadium, which is huge, by the way, bigger than not Quest Field, but whatever it's called now, Ceiling. It's not Lumen.
Lumen.
It's all over. So it's bigger than that, man. And I'm running around this thing looking for my parents. And I mean, after I probably took a whole lap, which was really embarrassing because where I came from, I turned right, and they were like right to my left. So I ran around the whole stadium looking for them, and they had protested. My parents protested for my disqualification, and in the disqualification process, you have 1 hour to declare for them to relook at it and overturn the ruling, right? You have 1 hour to protest, and you have to pay $100, even at the Olympics. You have to pay $100 US, and go figure. One of the dudes that was watching me, one of the coaches from another team had $100 on. Go figure exactly. So we gave him the $100, and if the protest overturns, you get your $100 back. So thankfully, anyways, that happened at night. I went home, couldn't sleep, man, and then I had to come back at 8 p.m. to find out the ruling. And again, the stadium is about an hour and a half to 2 hours away. So they told me at 8 p.m., you made it. We're going to overturn it. You can run in the semis. Thank God, because it was a dumb reason anyway.
When was the semis the next day?
The next morning.
After all this, I've been
morning.
stressing, running around, like, dude, y'all are taking me out of my game, you know?
Yes. And so I at 8 o'clock, they told me I'm in. I drove back all the way back to the village. I ate a small lunch, went to bed, and woke up the next morning at like 8 a.m. to get back on the track to run the next morning. And I mean, I did the best I could. And I did pretty well for myself. And that was just a chaotic situation, and it bothers me to this day because it should have never happened. I should have never been disqualified. And it's a ruling that said that I didn't attempt to go over the hurdle. I clearly hit the hurdle. It clearly affected me in a disadvantaged way, and I lost some position for it. And so
I don't have it. I didn't see it, but on the 10th hurdle, I'm tired.
Dude,
I'm tired.
That's what it was. It was the 10th hurdle, dude. I hit it with the heel of my foot, and it wasn't even like a big deal. I hit it and I stumbled.
Yeah, for sure. Where was the 2017 World Championships at? Because you ran in that as well, right?
Yeah, that was in London. That was a good one. I had a great season, but for some reason, 2017, if I can remember correctly, it was a very up and down season. One week I'd drop something crazy fast, and the next week, thinking I'm running fast, I would run really slow. I don't know why. And so I got to London. I was in great shape. I was feeling really good, and I just didn't perform very well. I don't know exactly why. There was an illness going around for everybody too, which affected a lot of performances. But London was amazing though. The city was cool, and a good thing about track and field is, I mean, it took me like 37 countries over a span of 3 years.
Jeez.
I traveled a lot, man.
Yeah.
I've been to every country or continent now besides Antarctica, but I plan on one day going to Antarctica. That sounds cool. Yeah. I landed a job at American Airlines. I throw bags for them. And, that's helped me in track and field as well because just to get to little meets so you can get a little tune-up, man. Those flights and hotels and everything add up. So if you cut out one thing, that's how I got my job at the airport. So, and now I'm in school. I'm going to be a chiropractor down in Dallas, and I'm bouncing school, track, and work. So I mean that's a lifestyle of a lot of people in the track and field world.
How was Tokyo 2021? You ran there. This guy's done it all. He ran in 2 Olympics and a World Championship.
Yeah.
He just said he went to how many? 37 countries.
Yeah.
He's been around running. So
how 38 now? I didn't think about Tokyo.
38. So how was Tokyo 2021? It's 2020. It gets canceled. There's no crowd. Like, what was that like?
So I wanted 2020 to be my final season, right? And I got back into the mentality of I'm gonna let them know who I am, type of deal. And I was busting my ass, dude. That was my best training year was 2020. And I'm not gonna lie, it was the most disheartening thing ever to hear that the track meets got canceled because they started coming in one after another, just rapidly. My first track meet got canceled. A day later, my biggest track meet of the year got canceled. A day later, this regular track meet got canceled. And I was like, oh, no way, this season's about to end. And then they were like trying to hold on for dear life to keep the Olympics. And I just knew in my heart that it wasn't going to happen. So to put in all those, it's March. They canceled them in March, man. That's when the first meets start. So I did all my off-season training. I was killing it. I did my preseason. Everything was going well. And they canceled it right in front of me. And it was really disheartening. It was like, it made me not want to train again. Like I was like, I don't want to do this next year because it's not even promised. 2021, we were still going through the same issues with the pandemic. So
but having to do all the work.
Exactly. And I was like, man, I worked so hard for nothing. I sacrificed. Like, you don't understand. Track and field is not a well-paying profession.
Yeah.
So I sacrificed a lot of things. You live your life a certain way, and it's not comfortable a lot of the times. But it was like, man, I wasn't willing to do that again. And it wasn't until I ran into a coach, because I had moved for school to Dallas, and I ran into a coach out there that really motivated me to do it again and give it a shot. So I gave it one last shot last year. This year, that was really this year. Seems so long ago.
Facts. Even for me, and I just was watching it. And
that's crazy. I thought that was last year. But a
couple months ago.
Yeah. So I got a coach that re-motivated me to train with him. We did the best we could with balancing school and track and work. I was dealing with a bunch of injuries, man. I've never really been injury prone like that. I've been blessed with that. But this last year, I kept getting injury after injury, and it added up, and I gave it the best I could at the Olympics, and that was that. And I'm not sure if I want to continue to run, just because that was a really 2020 and 2021 was a big headache year for me, and it's difficult to come back from that, especially at an older age, and injuries. Like I said, play a big factor in that stuff. As much as I love track, man, it can be very frustrating.
Oh, it's a stressful sport. All sports, every sport is of course stressful.
Right.
But if you gotta get out there and do it yourself, once the coaches, boxing, tennis, it's like an individual sport. You gotta get out there, win, lose, or draw. Man. It's like I gotta live by myself. My life kind of is going to fluctuate by how my performance is. And I think it's like that for all sports, but shit, if you make it to the NBA, you can ride the pine and get M's and go to the club after, depending on what your mentality is.
Right.
But it's like, if I got to get out here, if I get eighth, like, I'm going to be embarrassed. Right. And that's when I go home, I might be a little upset with myself, and that might be taking out on everyone else because I got to get out here and only I'm on camera. There ain't no team. Like, it's just me.
Dude, track is a different animal. Especially like you said, like, I can't go out 2 days prior and be like, I'm going to have some chicken and waffles today. I got to worry about what I'm eating for the 2 days not even just the 2 days, but the weeks, the days leading up to it. It's such a stress. But, I mean, it has its rewards, obviously. Everybody loves track. Once you win, once you do big performances, things feel great.
Oh, yeah. When you're up, you're up. It's in the summertime. You're not doing it. Well, for the most part. Not all the time. But, it's like a big meet. You might be in nice weather. Everybody's in shape there. Everything's going well. When you're winning and when you're not, it's rough.
Let me tell you about the griminess of track and field, man. Oh, man. I have not told anybody this. So you're getting the exclusive right there. There's a club. All right, so how do I want to explain this? Track and field is different in the United States, as we know, right? It's a big deal in Europe. They have club sports. There's a club called Sporting Club de Portugal. They sponsor and hold a list of different sports. Soccer is obviously their main headline because they have a good soccer team. That's where Cristiano Ronaldo originated, was out of Sporting Club de Portugal. But they got judo, golf, whatever you can name it. They got sports. Track and field is obviously one of them as well. And the benefit of those clubs, and every country has them, especially in Europe. But the benefit of those clubs is that you can get a contract offer to represent these clubs. You wear the uniforms, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if you saw any pictures of me running online. I had a sporting club. And this is where the griminess comes in, right? So I signed with these guys in 2017. I met them after the Olympics, 2016. They came up and talked to me. And they're like, hey, we want you to represent our club, blah, blah, blah. We want you to do some track meets for us. Make sure you're serious, and we'll do it. I was like, all right, cool. So I went to all these track meets, sacrificed my time in my track meets that I already had scheduled to go to these little itty-bitty meets, man. But it was worth it because at the end of the day, I secured the contract with them.
Yep.
It wasn't a ton of money, but it was like 10 G's a year. And it was nice because that's how I got to a lot of track meets in Europe, is because this club allowed me to stay out there and train in the summers. And that way I can go to all these European countries with a quick 1 hour flight rather than coming back over here to train back and forth. And I was living in Seattle. That's a long trip to Europe. So it was a great deal. I was really excited about it. And slowly but surely, even though we're on contract, the money just stopped showing up. And I had bonuses on that contract. So there was a flat rate salary, but there was a lot of bonuses and incentives. And I was meeting all these bonuses, man. And I got none of it. And even though it was on contract, because I live in the United States and they live in Portugal, they weren't trying to honor it because they knew that I couldn't do nothing about it. So I reached out to all these lawyers in Portugal. I was like, hey, I need your help in filing this lawsuit with Sporting. and no one was willing to take it on because sporting's got money.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I ain't got money like that.
mm-hmm.
And it's just griminess like that. Like, hey, they just not gonna pay me because I'm not there no more.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I went to all my meets. I satisfied all my requirements, and I got nothing out of it, man. I got fucking played. And so I'm still trying to figure out how I can get back at them about it and, get what's rightfully mine. I mean, I'm missing out on like 20 G's out of them. Because I don't know, man. So I'm looking to find out how anyone can find me loopholes, and not even loopholes, but just a lawyer that can help me out, man. And that was another reason that I sacrificed a lot in my career because I had to go to their track meets. I ended up losing that agent that was here, partially on me, but me and him started butting heads a lot because I had to fulfill their obligations, and he kept trying to get me to these bigger track meets. And so I had to fulfill my part, my duty on these contracts.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I understand that this is your money, but this is my money here too, so I can't make it to here. So me and him started butting heads, and we ended up falling out. And he was a really good agent. He was a good guy too. I got nothing against him to this day, but he wasn't willing to budge on that. And I signed with another agent after him who didn't have the same pull. So these are things that just added up in my career that limited my possibilities in a lot of ways. And my new agent, man, he booked me like 3 gigs in the 3 years I had him. The rest of the meets, I was booking myself, or luckily that club could get me, they had more pull than my agent did. So I would just say, this is so-and-so in this club, and I want to make it to this meet.
What do agents do? Like, I guess what is their job to do in track?
Honestly, their job is not that difficult. It really isn't. We pay them a lot of money for easy stuff. So to get into a professional track meet, let's just say the 400, they only got 8 lanes available, right, for this track meet. So you can call up the meet director yourself and be like, hey, this is Mike. I'm trying to get in this meet. And they'll be like, all right, what's your marks? What's your accolades? And if they like it, they're like, all right, we got you. You're in the lane. As an agent, they do that exact same thing. They say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm the agent. I got this guy I want to put in your meet. And the thing is about it is sometimes they have lanes, let's say they got 1 lane left, and they're trying to be really picky about it. An agent has the authority to say, hey, if you don't put my boy in this lane, I'm not bringing this girl who's bringing you money. Like, for instance, my agent had Brittany Reese, world champion, Olympic champion, like a baller, one of the greats of all time. He would just use her as a pawn all the time. Like, if you don't put Jordan in this race, I'm not sending Brittany then. We're going to go to another meet. So things like that is a lot of leverage that agents have that you don't have as just a regular person and getting you in meets. Yeah. Also, they negotiate contracts with you, which is in their best interest because they get a portion of it. They get a portion of you going to these track meets and you winning meets. And I'm sure they get sided money for supporting or for bringing in by the meet directors for bringing in stuff. I'm sorry. So my best friend and I, that's what that was. That was my fault. My best friend and I, we took all our money that we did gather from track and field, and I was very frugal about my money. I saved up a ton, and we took our money and we invested it into some properties, and now we're running Airbnbs out of them.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we got
young businessman.
Yes, man. So that was something that could set us up for the future after track and field. We got 4 properties, and we're looking to expand some more as we can.
Congrats.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, man, we gotta, I'll work it out. We're all entrepreneurs around here.
For sure.
You know how it is.
Yeah. All right, I got one last question for you.
What's up?
What are some tips for some young runners? For the young Jordin Andrades, for, the young kid who's going into 9th grade at Bonnie Lake, Clover Park, Lakes, wherever, like, who wants to go pro? What do they need to do? Like, what are some tips for them?
Well, I think first and foremost, you gotta believe in yourself. It's really the easiest thing, and it's the most important above everything else. And you also have to take those steps in terms of eating right and really committing yourself. You can't say you want something but not be willing to make a sacrifice for it. And that for track and field is very concrete. Things are right there. You want to run faster, You either are or you aren't. You know, you can't be one or the other. So you find your weaknesses, you make them strengths. If you drink a lot of soda, man, as simple as that is, switch to water. You know, you don't want to make your late night snacks. You got to make sure you're up early, you're going to work, and don't burn yourself out. But that's really about it, man. I think that it's the most cliche thing ever, but you can do anything you put your mind to, and it's really that simple. And coming in as just a kid that wanted to have fun at track and field, I changed my idea of what I wanted to do. You know,
Preach.
Changed my idea of what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. I wanted to be great at it, and I did the best I could. And I'm just a little skinny dude from Bonnie Lake. You should see how skinny I was.
Skinny dude from Bonnie Lake.
Yes.
Who started running track his junior year to mess around with his homies, to 2-time Olympian, made it to the World Championships, pro, traveled the world. Gotta salute it. He really did it. He did it all.
And you can't be afraid of nobody, man. I used to see this dude Mike, and maybe you heard of him. He was out here in Clover Park rolling people, and I was like, I'm not racing that guy. He's gonna smoke me. But it's really something to admire. I'm happy to be back on this show, man. It really is cool. I'm excited about what you're doing. Sure. Limitless.
Yeah.
All of it.
Out here. Yeah, that's all. What's next? One more thing. What's next? We got the Airbnbs.
Oh, man.
Where's your future?
Oh, my goodness. Everything's coming back together. So I'm in school to be a chiropractor down in Dallas. I got Airbnb set up, and I want to start coaching a little bit here and there. I think that's a very significant thing that I can provide for somebody in terms of so my thing was I didn't want to make track and field my life when I finished, you know? I didn't want to be that guy. But I think that I have enough that I can give to somebody else that it would be selfish for me not to.
You have to. I went with this because my track career ended abruptly, and I was hurt. I'm hurt, and I'm basically salty. Even if I wouldn't show it or wouldn't admit it to myself, I'm basically salty. But over the last few years, I'm like, oh damn, I really like track, or these experiences that I was able to get. I can give game, I can do interviews, I have so much to offer to any sport, but the world of track and field, coaching, this and that. But it's like, originally you're like, once you're hanging up, you're like, I'm tired of that, But you have so much to offer to a lot of people. So
yeah, and all of us do, man. And things that I don't even know, and nobody knows everything, so. Everybody that has the ambition can come together, and we can find a good way to give back to everybody. Make the best of it.
For sure. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Of course, my guy.
Thank you.
No problem. Out here in Tacoma.
Yeah. In the tag.
Appreciate you.